Hello and welcome to Granada Reports, live with the news in the northwest.
Hello there, here's what's on the programme this evening.
We believe that he was from a generation of heroes that helped shape the way that we live today.
A final farewell to Ernest, who touched the hearts of thousands of strangers. One of our few remaining Second World War veterans, he was just short of 106.
The dawn raids that have seen hundreds of arrests by police investigating county lines drugs gangs.
The basketball hotshots who are making their sport a real family affair.
Don't be cruel to a heart that's true.
All shook up why dozens of Elvis tribute acts are gathering in Blackpool.
And in the weather, the rain may not be much of a giggle for most of us, but it's muddy fun for some. The weekend is here and so is the forecast. All the details coming up.
First tonight, the funeral of one of the oldest surviving Second World War veterans has taken place in Lancashire. Ernest Horsfall died 2 months short of turning 106.
He spoke to Granada Reports on his last birthday when he received more than 4,000 cards after an appeal. Ernest received a full Guard of Honour at a church in Preston, from where Jennifer Buck reports.
A hero send-off for Ernest Horsfall. He died at 105 after a life well lived. The funeral cortege was led by mounted police with standard bearers proud to make a Guard of Honour.
We can't forget these people. They served, and went through these wars. A lot of sacrifice for their families and them as well. And to ask us guys to come out and stand with the standards for them and not forget them makes me very proud, and everybody else that does it.
Ernest lived his final years at a care home in Preston, where we attended his 105th birthday party. After a public appeal, he received over 4,000 cards, including well wishes from the Prime Minister and the King. But in his usual understated way, he couldn't understand the fuss.
I'm surprised that anyone's taking any notice, to tell you the truth. Why?
Born in 1918, Ernest lived through 27 prime ministers and 5 monarchs. He was a proud World War II veteran, serving in the Royal Electrical Mechanical Engineers that he co-founded in 1941.
Ernest was a character. He was our president of the branch, always got on well with everybody, and he was just a character for the stories he could tell. And he started off as the founding member of the Remy Corps.
We believe that he was from a generation of heroes that helped shape the way that we live today. They've given us our freedom and our democracy, and they deserve a turnout like he's had today.
Ernest outlived both his wife and son, but lived his final years surrounded by friends.
Very much a life well lived. And Ernest would look back on his life and say that he's really had a very good life. He had great memories, and he was very thankful for his life and thankful for those around him.
Ernest made his final journey with the medals he was so proud of. Jennifer Buck, ITV News in Preston.
Remembering Ernest Horsfall. Next, and an inquest has found 2 women died after eating chicken sandwiches contaminated with listeria while they were being treated at Manchester Royal Infirmary. The jury concluded the meat had come from North Country Quality Foods in Salford.
Beverly Sower, a retired nurse, and Enid Heap were 2 of 7 people who died in 2019, prompting a nationwide alert about the outbreak. Our correspondent Emma Sweeney is in the newsroom for us with more details. Emma.
Well, 57-year-old Beverly Sower and 84-year-old Enid Heap were given the sandwiches on successive days while being treated at Manchester Royal Infirmary. The inquest heard how both women who had underlying health problems died within days after contracting listeria from the contaminated food, which jurors decided more than minimally contributed to their deaths. Following a 5-day inquest, the jury also concluded the listeria bacteria entered the food chain at a Salford cooked meat processing firm, North Country Quality Foods. They supplied the contaminated chicken to sandwich making firm, the Good Food chain, which then used it to produce chicken mayo sandwiches. Now, both of those firms have since gone into liquidation. Once the sandwiches had been supplied to the Good Food chain, they were then supplied to Sodexo. They were contracted to supply the NHS trust running the MRI, and the sandwiches were fed to both women. Today, in a statement, Sodexo said they'd welcomed the finding that there was no breakdown in the Sodexo code chain for the delivery and storage of food at Manchester Royal Infirmary. Now, at the inquest, the cause of death for Mrs. Sower, a mother of 5, was given as sepsis, listeria and metastatic breast cancer. For Miss Heap, the cause of death was given as septicemia, listeria, pneumonia and pulmonary fibrosis. The families of both women today paid tribute outside court, saying that the conclusion of the inquest would help them to move on.
This inquest has been beneficial in providing us with a comprehensive understanding of the circumstances and subsequence of events that led to our mother's passing, and has given us some form of closure.
The conclusion today reached is satisfactory for us as a family. It's been a long 5 years. In that 5 years, much has happened for us. My mother wasn't just a mother, she was obviously a wife, a sister, a daughter.
Now, after the inquest concluded earlier, Manchester City Coroner Zach Gollenbeck told the families, "I hope in time you can all remember your loved ones for the happy memories that you all spent together."
Emma, thank you very much.
Next tonight, more than 300 people have been arrested across the northwest in a crackdown on county lines drugs gangs. In a week-long operation, guns, knives and drugs were seized and 39 people were taken to safety. It's part of a national scheme to tackle county lines gangs. Arrests were made as far afield as North Wales and Norfolk. In Greater Manchester, 85 arrests were made, with 12 active drugs lines closed down.
Well, a short time ago, I spoke to Detective Superintendent Joe Harrop, Head of Serious and Organised Crime at Greater Manchester Police. And he started by explaining exactly what county lines are.
So county lines gangs are a term used to describe those organised crime groups who exploit both adults and children and utilise them to facilitate their drug supply. So often there's a movement of those drugs from one area, one town into another, one city into another, but it can also be in the same region. In essence, it's the movement of drugs and an element of exploitation to facilitate that to happen.
So tell us about County Lines Intensification Week. It's been across the country. What happened in Greater Manchester and how successful was the initiative?
So that was a targeted piece of work as part of Programme Challenger, which is our force-wide response to organised crime, including county lines. That was some really heavily involved partnership work to target this threat in particular. So we saw a large number of warrants being executed, a large number of arrests, a real focused effort to close down these county lines, but also a lot of prevent and engagement work to try and stop children being involved in county lines activity in the first place.
Yeah, you mentioned these gangs are recruiting young, often vulnerable people. How are they going about that?
So it often starts with an element of debt bondage. So it may be giving the young person perhaps drugs or money, or luring them into be involved in this life, and then often keeping them trapped, making them have to repay a debt, or making them feel like they're part of a gang or a group. Often the young people themselves don't realise they're being exploited. But GMP's focus is very much not on criminalising those children, trying to help them, trying to safeguard them, and just targeting those higher up the group who are exploiting these vulnerable young people.
I know the support of the public is crucial in tackling this issue. How can people help if they think they have information, and what should we be looking out for?
So initially I'd say if people have got information to either contact the police or contact Crime Stoppers anonymously, let us know about these lines. The public needs to be aware about perhaps children who've changed, absent from school, missing from home, who may need our support. We need to know about that, and we'll take efforts to safeguard them. The public also needs to be aware of that it's not just drug supply. So drug supply, county lines work is indicative of other forms of criminality. I think that's highlighted by, just in this week of action, when we've executed warrants, in one address we recovered 4 firearms. It shows the level of threats associated with this type of crime and these type of crime groups. So we really need the public's help to help us close down these lines and to safeguard children.
This has been a week of action. What is your message to these gangs about the other 51 weeks of the year?
So we've took this as a week of action just to showcase the work that we and our partners do, but we are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to target this type of criminality. As I've said, we've closed down 12 lines just in this week. We've closed down 150 so far over the year. That'll continue. We'll close down more lines next year. We won't stop in tackling this type of crime.
OK, Detective Superintendent Joe Harrop, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Moving on to the day's other news now, and the driver of a school bus which crashed on a motorway in Wirral died from natural causes while he was at the wheel of the vehicle. 15-year-old student Jessica Baker also died when the crash happened on the M53 last September. She was one of 50 children on board the bus. The driver was 40-year-old Stephen Shrimpton. His inquest concluded he died of natural causes. An inquest into Jessica's death will be held at a later date.
2 men have been convicted of killing 25-year-old Jack Jeremy Doyle in Preston. Jack from Chorley was attacked by 2 strangers while on a night out with friends in the city. He was approached by Jake Parkinson, who punched him in the stomach. Jack Fairclough then punched the victim in the face, knocking him to the floor and causing the injury which killed him 2 days later. Fairclough admitted manslaughter. Parkinson was found guilty of the same charge by a jury.
A £1 note issued on the Isle of Man has been sold at auction for, wait for it, £24,000. The note is quite special because it was the very first banknote issued by the Manx Bank back in November 1882. And if you look closely, the serial number is 00001. Andrew Patterson from Noonan's Auction House in London said it was a remarkable price for a remarkable piece of history.
£24,000. Imagine finding that in your wallet or your purse.
Most of my pound notes feel like they're worth about 10 pence these days.
OK, still to come tonight.
The pioneering radio station for people living with dementia.
And in the weather, recent rain made for muddy walks today, but for some, there is still a lot to be done. And don't forget, of course, those showers bring on a bloom or two. The full weekend forecast coming up shortly.
And let's join Gamal now for details of the ITV Evening News at 6:30.
Coming up, an inquest into the deaths of 2 women who were killed by the food given to them while in hospital. Beverly Sower and Enid Heap died within days after they ate sandwiches contaminated with listeria. Also, calls for the governments to crack down on puppy smuggling 3 years after ministers promised to tighten the rules. And a bust unearthed at Burley House, a nearly 2,000-year-old relic, is found in a car park. Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Now, we are often told about the power of music to calm those living with dementia and to help revive memories of their earlier life. Well, a radio station on Merseyside is doing just that and is about to welcome a wider audience.
Merseyside dementia-friendly radio first launched just online in 2020, but now it's been given a licence to broadcast on digital radio. Our reporter Lucille Brobby took a trip to its new studio space to find out more.
You are listening to MDFR.
Merseyside dementia-friendly radio first launched online 4 years ago, and it's been transforming the lives of people living with the disease ever since. So much so that Ofcom have given the station a community radio licence, making them the first dementia-friendly digital audio broadcasting station in the UK.
Why did you create the dementia-friendly radio station in the first place?
I had some dementia in the family for a few generations, and saw that there was a need for it. There was a lack of anything dementia friendly in the radio space. Most of what we do is provide reminiscence resources for people, so things that can elicit nostalgia, can take people back to happier times of their lives. So it's music from certain eras. We tend to stick to music from the 40s to the 80s. Because that will often be the times in people's lives when they've made the strongest connections to music.
At this dementia daycare centre in Liverpool, they bump up MDFR's tunes for residents every day, and sometimes they'll have a boogie while they listen.
Music in general just makes everyone happier. It takes everyone back, so it's nostalgic for them, it can settle them down, and they're getting up and dancing to certain ones as well, so it just makes everyone really happy. It keeps the day really fun.
Why do you enjoy listening to the music on the radio?
Well, it's relaxing, isn't it? And I enjoy the music. And then you hear them again, you know, like years later, and it's a lovely feeling, isn't it?
MDFR says on-air advertising isn't dementia-friendly, so they're relying on donations and grant funding to survive.
We're looking to our audience and to other people that believe in it to help us fund the transition. We don't include adverts because they can be distressing for people living with dementia. They'll often feature some kind of conflict or complicated sound design.
Nat knows the difference music can make to the lives of those living with dementia and hopes they can continue to help people going through a tough time. Lucille Brubby, ITV News, Liverpool.
Isn't that brilliant?
Absolutely brilliant.
It's really interesting. I, like many people at home, I'm sure, have family members with dementia, and it is true, music is one of those connections, one of those memories that lasts the longest. So that radio station will help so many people, I'm sure.
There's a brilliant orchestra at Gorton Monastery who do music for people living with dementia, and it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So shout out to them. Yeah. Time for sport now, and it's a big weekend of FA Cup quarter-final action, with Wembley awaiting the winners. Here's David.
Yeah, Manchester City, Liverpool, Manchester United, all still in contention to lift the famous old trophy. However, one of those will definitely miss out on a place in the semi-finals at Wembley. That's because the quarter-finals of the Cup reignites one of world football's biggest rivalries. Manchester United and Liverpool face each other at Old Trafford. Chris Hall looks ahead to Sunday's showdown.
A decades-old rivalry from which legends are born. For two clubs who've recently made Wembley their second home, only one can return.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm not sure if that's exactly what you call enjoyment, but I'm looking forward to it. So it's a good thing. Come on, we can take 9,000 people, I think. More tickets, 9,000 people, Old Trafford, Manchester United. Yeah. Ask me after the game if I enjoyed it.
Some games are bigger than others, that's definitely. And I think Manchester United, Liverpool, that's always a big game, but especially when it's quarter-final FA Cup. We had our lows, definitely, but I don't think in any so really high-rated game we had our lows. Then we were always in top form, so and I'm convinced we will be on Sunday as well.
Nobody has knocked Liverpool out of the FA Cup more than Manchester United. 10 times they've won this tussle compared to Liverpool's 4.
Who's the difficult one? Because I never think about this, who's favourite. And I don't think about the opposition. We know where the strengths are, but also where the weaknesses are. And it's about that our team is in the best. It's about this.
It was always a tough place to go for us. It's not easy. It means everything to both fan groups. Means absolutely everything. We know that. We try to show that on the pitch as well. There are no guarantees, just opportunities. That's how we see it, and we're really willing to give it a try.
For the managers, winning the cup would bring contrasting rewards. For one, redemption. For the other, a fitting swan song. For the fans, beating the enemy would feel almost as good as lifting the trophy itself. Chris Hall, ITV News.
Yeah, big game, and you can see it live right here on ITV1 on Sunday from 2:45. Well, the reigning FA Cup holders Manchester City are also in quarter-final action. They're at home to fellow Premier League side Newcastle United tomorrow.
When you play in lesser stages, you play against the best teams in Europe, and Real Madrid also is there. Sometimes we go through, sometimes we are out, so it is opponent. So all the opponents were really, really tough. Everybody knows it.
Now, Burnley are our only side in Premier League action this weekend as they host Brentford. There's a full fixture list in the Football League, while in League Two last night, Stockport moved back up to second in the table after coming from 2 goals down to draw 2-2 with Salford. Now to the stars from the Manchester Giants and Cheshire Phoenix coming together for the return of British basketball's All-Stars game. The match is back after 10 years away and sees the best players in the league face off as the team from the north takes on the team from the south. And for one married couple, that means a busy weekend both on and off the court.
Anderson needs to heave it from miles out. Oh, Jamal Anderson, are you kidding me?
Manchester Giants hotshots Jamal and Georgia Anderson are used to leaving their opponents in their wake.
Oh my goodness!
Look at it.
But when it comes to their 1-year-old daughter Harper, they're the ones trying to keep up.
Woo!
It's been fun. It's been very fun. We're very blessed to have such a beautiful, excited daughter, and then trying to manage basketball training and games with her it's been really interesting, but so far so good.
Yay! She's actually amazing. She loves people. She's very sociable. She loves going to basketball and watching. So yeah, she's a really good baby. Oh yeah, sorry.
Jamal and Georgia have both won medals with England at Commonwealth Games, and their engagement out on Australia's Gold Coast in 2018 went viral when Jamal roped in his teammates to pop the question.
Clap hands.
Fast forward 6 years, British basketball's golden couple are now settling into life as a trio.
Yours.
The lack of sleep is unreal. But yeah, it's amazing what you can do on little sleep. You know, we still find our ways to perform and train and kind of give it our all on the court, even though, you know, you might only get 3 hours sleep. But we're a family, we support each other. You know, if Georgia has a game, I do my best to kind of do more, the night shift as we call it. And yeah, it's been really fun.
You pass it.
Well, this weekend, all three are heading down to London's Copper Box for the return of British basketball's All-Stars game. This North versus South showdown on Sunday sees the best in the league do battle. And while it's the first in a decade for the men, it's the first one ever for the women.
Anderson for 3, nails it!
We've never had one before, so it's really good to have it, and especially alongside the men on the same day. I think it's really good. I think it's going to be a great event and really just fun to be part of. Are you shooting it? Woo! She's playing, I don't know if you know. Yeah, no, it is again going to be another juggling act. Luckily we've got some support going to be on the court side to help us out, so I'm sure we'll handle it.
While Harper will be watching her mummy and daddy represent the North this weekend, if she inherits her parents' basketballing genes, you may be looking at an all-star of the future.
No!
How big is Harper?
Oh, how cute is little Harper there. And you know what? I wonder who's going to be the busiest, the person on the court actually playing the basketball or the person off the court looking after Harper.
Off the court, I think we all know. I love that. The lack of sleep is unreal.
Do you know what? It was interesting. Jamal couldn't stop mentioning that. He was just going, the lack of sleep. I think as all parents know. Oh, yes.
Thanks very much, David.
OK, now then, Anne, I've got a challenge for you. Can we get through this next link without making a single Elvis Presley pun?
Because that's what we normally do.
It's
very predictable. Of course we can. This is the story of 30 of the world's best Elvis Presley tribute acts who've descended on Blackpool for a competition to find the true king of rock and roll.
Yes, the Great British Elvis Tribute Contest is taking place all weekend and brings together fans from all over the world.
OK, well, a little less conversation. Let's see them in action. Drat. I thought I could make it. Here's Andy Bonner.
You know I can be found. They've got the look, they've got the voice, they've got the smile. But who will be crowned king of the Elvis tributes? Don't be cruel, too hard is true.
I'm from Burnley, live in Blackpool now. I've been into Elvis since I was about 3 years old.
What does it mean for this to be here?
Oh, it's incredible, an ultimate competition. And there's not many of these, and a lot of them are in America, but to have one in the UK, and it's the only one over here, to have that opportunity to get to Memphis is absolutely incredible.
Blackpool is synonymous attached to Vegas. Why wouldn't we host this event? I mean, it's sensational. I went to the bathroom before and 4 Elvises were in there. I was amazed.
More than 30 Elvis acts are in Blackpool for the weekend as part of the biggest Elvis contest in the world.
This is one of the most prestigious competitions because if you win this, it qualifies you to go into the ultimate competition in Memphis, which is like the big one. And you get recognised by Elvis Presley Enterprises and everything if you win that.
So it's fair to say you're taking this seriously?
Yeah.
How serious?
Very serious.
Elvis was a fun guy. He had a lot of fun, and he was having, jokes with the women and even the men. So it's like, it was never serious. He was always kind of messing around, and and I enjoy that because I don't like it too seriously. I don't like to take myself too seriously.
Does it annoy you when people, all they think about with Elvis is the impression and all the cliches that we know about?
It is annoying. We know sometimes it's done in fun, but as a professional outfit and the professional guys on stage, the cliches about the burgers and and all that, it does get a little bit tedious. But these guys are all professional and they know how to conduct themselves. But we don't mind. We'll take it. But at the end of the day, it's a bit of fun, but there's a limit.
If I can dream. The chance to go to Memphis will go to this weekend's winners. They'll take part in the World Finals there in August. So this is no laughing matter. Have you got a chance to get into Memphis?
Who knows? I will try my hardest, and it's a dream just to get there. I've never been to Memphis yet, so just to get that opportunity to go out and compete in the ultimate would be absolutely incredible. So fingers crossed.
Vegas of the North.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be here?
That was fantastic. I mean, I'm in Blackpool a lot because I do a lot of shows in Blackpool. I've done for many years, so it's nice to come back. And like I said, after not doing a contest for so many years, it's nice to come back and have another go.
I wish you all the best with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, yeah.
Oh, I want that sun.
Andy Bonner, ITV News, Blackpool.
They take it seriously, don't they?
Bit too seriously,
bit
I
too
think.
seriously.
What does the weekend weather have in store for us? Here's Emma.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello there, hope you've had a good day and that you're all set for the weekend. There's something I find very appealing about this picture, so thank you, Mavis, for sharing with us. Now then, the weather's in a bit of a rut at the moment, a changeable rut at that. We had a chillier interlude this afternoon, however, milder air is going to be pushed in with this system here from the west. However, it will also introduce quite a lot of showers over the weekend. We find ourselves in a little bit of a gap at some point, so maybe some brighter spells with those showers. However, they'll never be too far away. And there are quite a few question marks over Tuesday onwards about precipitation, but we'll get to those nearer the time. So rewinding to the next few hours, you can see it's quite a straightforward evening. Skies clearing, the winds fall out. It's been very breezy across the Isle of Man through the Irish Sea today and at the coast, but the winds calm down overnight, and I think we are going to get a patchy ground frost in some parts of the region as well under those clearer skies. Into tomorrow then, and the sun is up at 6:22, and it's going to be a chilly start to the day, but actually the payoff for that is quite a lot of sunshine. So it's going to be the early bird catches the worm because it's all going downhill into the afternoon. So at lunchtime onwards, we start to see the sunshine being nibbled away at by this cloud cover, so things becoming quite overcast, 1 or 2 outbreaks of patchy rain in there, but all fairly light, temperatures where they should be for the time of year, and also reasonably light winds, but again still a little bit livelier through the Irish Sea. And that system continues its journey north and eastwards, so it's going to be out into the North Sea by Sunday, leaving us with some sunny spells and a few scattered showers. Maybe 1 or 2 of those could be a little bit sharp, but look at those temperatures, they leap up much milder. Monday should be drier, there will be some brighter spells, but also quite a bit of cloud. That's it. Bye-bye.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Thanks very much, Emma. That is it for now. Just time to introduce you to a new, very tall arrival at Chester Zoo.
A rare Rothschild giraffe has been born to mum Orla. Zookeepers are yet to determine whether the baby, who's already 6 foot tall, is male or female. We're not sure why.
No. What a lovely way to end the programme, though. How cute. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.